There's a kind of power that doesn't shout, it doesn't wear chains, it doesn't chase likes, it doesn't need to prove anything, it just walks into a room and everyone feels it. That cold stillness, that silent intensity, the unshakable presence of someone who has seen chaos, faced it, tamed it, and now carries that darkness with elegance. That's the mind of a true warrior. A mind so disciplined, so sharp, so controlled, it terrifies people without a word. Miyamoto Musashi had that kind of mind. He was a ghost in human skin. He won over 60 duels, not with brute force, not with luck, but with mental dominance. He crushed opponents before they even drew their blade, because he had already won in his head. This video isn't about vision boards, manifesting, or chasing comfort. It's about building a mind so disciplined, so strategic, so damn dangerous that people don't know whether to fear you or worship you. And once you understand how Musashi built that mind, you'll never think the same again. Part 1. The monster was forged, not born. Musashi wasn't a prodigy. As you already know, his mother died early. He slept in the woods. He fought grown men when he was still a kid. His first duel was a kill. That's not childhood, that's war. But here's the catch. He never played the victim, ever. No pity parties, no tears on camera, just silent and ruthless self-discipline. Do nothing which is of no use. Do you remember this quote from Musashi? Let that line haunt you. Every video you binge, every excuse you make, that's weakness feeding itself. Musashi had one obsession: mastery. He didn't care about comfort. He didn't care about fitting in. He chose a path that would destroy most men, and he walked it alone. That's the first step to building a terrifying mind. Isolation. Because when you're alone long enough, the real enemy shows up. Not other people, not the world, your own thoughts. And Musashi stared those thoughts down until they shattered. Part 2. Kill distraction, or be killed by it. I remember this one period in my life a couple of years ago. I was stuck, drowning in distractions. Every time I sat down to work, I'd scroll, I'd compare, I'd sink deeper into the spiral of feeling behind. Then I found this old book, The Book of Five Rings by Musashi. It wasn't written to be inspirational. It was written like a war manual, cold, relentless. One line punched me in the face. If you know the way broadly, you will see it in all things. That changed everything for me. It hit me. I was trying to fix my life in pieces, my body, my money, my habits, but I didn't have a code. I didn't have a way. Musashi lived by one code: be prepared to die, but never unprepared to win. After that, I deleted everything, every application, every excuse. I treated every hour like a duel, not some motivational hype, life or death. And my mind started changing. Less noise, more edge, less emotion, more clarity, less reaction, more control. That's what Musashi teaches you. Not how to be happy, but how to be dangerous. Part 3. Emotion is the enemy of execution. Musashi once said, "The primary thing when you take a sword in your hands is your intention to cut the enemy, whatever the means." That's not just about battle, it's about life. You can't build a mind like Musashi's if you're constantly reacting. You can't build anything when emotions own your decisions. Musashi wasn't cold by nature. He became that way through discipline. He didn't act from impulse, he moved from strategy. Most men fold under pressure, not from lack of skill, but because they never trained their emotions to shut up. You can give them the sword, the plan, the perfect moment, and they'd still choke, because their feelings outrank their focus. True mastery, Musashi said, is a mind that moves with no hesitation, not because the path is easy, but because the inner noise is gone. He didn't rage, didn't beg, didn't fantasize, he just moved. And in today's world, that kind of restraint terrifies people. Because when you don't react, they don't know what you're thinking. And when they don't know what you're thinking, they start fearing what you might do. Musashi trained until his mind was quieter than his breath. Pain, fear, praise, even death became just data. He wasn't calm because life was easy. He was calm because he killed the chaos inside himself. And you? Ask yourself, when you're disrespected, when things fall apart, do you act from principle or panic? If your emotions still run the show, you'll never move like a warrior. You have to build a mind so stable, so locked in, nothing can hijack it. Because once you master emotion, you master execution. And once you master execution, you don't need to talk about power, you just become it. Part 4. Face death, then nothing can touch you. Musashi meditated on death daily, not in a poetic way, literally. He imagined himself being killed, torn apart, forgotten. Why? Because once you accept death, you stop fearing it. And once you stop fearing death, you become untouchable. Musashi said, "The way of the warrior is resolute acceptance of death." Think about how many decisions you avoid out of fear. Fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of what people think. But what if you had already made peace with the worst-case scenario? What if you moved like a man who had nothing to lose but everything to prove? That's when you stop reacting like a civilian and start acting like a weapon. This is why Musashi was terrifying, not just because of what he could do, but because of what he had already faced. He didn't fear pain, he didn't fear death, he didn't even fear loneliness, and that's why no one could break him. Part 5. Modern weakness disguised as self-care. Here's a bitter truth. Most of what's called self-care today is just escapism. Take a break. Be gentle with yourself. Protect your peace. No, Musashi didn't protect his peace. He earned it by walking through fire. Your mind doesn't get stronger by avoiding stress. It gets stronger by conquering it. You don't grow by feeling safe. You grow by walking into fear, fully aware it might kill you, and doing it anyway. People today want the strength of warriors, but not their discipline. They want peace without sacrifice, power without suffering, wisdom without scars. But there's no path like that, and Musashi knew it. You may abandon your own body, but you must preserve your honor. That means don't betray your potential just because the world makes weakness look trendy. Part 6. Create inner silence, or be a slave to noise. Musashi spent the last years of his life in a cave, alone, writing, thinking, training, dying slowly, but with grace. And here's what's wild. He didn't fear the silence. He became sharper inside it. Most people today can't sit in silence for 5 minutes without freaking out. They need noise, constant stimulation, something to run from the voice in their head. Musashi ran toward it, and the more you train your mind to sit in stillness, no music, no scrolling, no talking, the more your mind becomes a fortress. Because once your thoughts stop controlling you, you start controlling everything. Part 7. Be the storm, not the branch. Here's what they don't tell you. Life is brutal. People will lie, friends will vanish, plans will fail. You'll be betrayed, mocked, underestimated, and left for dead, and no one's coming to save you. Musashi knew that, so he trained his mind like a blade, not to cut others, but to cut through reality. No fear, no fantasy, just clarity, precision, purpose. And if you do that, if you build a mind that doesn't flinch, doesn't beg, doesn't need, you'll scare people. Not because you're cruel, but because they'll see something they don't recognize anymore. A man who cannot be broken. Blade's final breath. The world is full of noise, but Musashi teaches you to become the silence inside it. The world is full of fear, but Musashi shows you how to walk into the storm naked and leave calm. This isn't about swords. This is about your mind, your code, your future. Build a mind so strong it scares people, because they'll know they can take your money, your status, even your body, but they will never, ever touch your mind. And in that silence, in that stillness, in that deadly calm, you will smile, because you became the blade. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more videos, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one.